Let me take and give you a simple presentation of who are the amazing people that we have in this panel today. We have Luc Longny, right? He is the Director of Marketing of Vodafone Qatar. Let me just tell you something really quickly. To see any of those guys, you could have an average of around 2 to 3 weeks to have a meeting with them. And if you get the chance to actually have a meeting with them, they are very busy. They're an individual of the society. But more importantly, they are people who have proven themselves in what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. And we want to know how did they started when they were 17. Second of all, we have Karim Shamma, the CEO of Doha Festival City. We have Mr. Charles Noland, the Vice President of IT Strategy, Governance, Innovation of Qatar Airways. We have Mr. Nail Salahuddin, General Manager of Afif Charity. And we have Mr. Adham Al-Sibai. How do we say it?
It's okay, Al-Sibai.
Al-Sibai, yes. The General Manager of Hilton Doha. As I mentioned before, those are very successful individuals, and what they do on a day-to-day basis is very important, not only to Qatar, but to the whole region, and in some cases, on a global perspective. I will not present you. I would want each one of you to basically pick up the microphone. We'll start by Luc, to tell everyone here, Luc, who is Luc?
Introductions. Introductions are always really interesting. So I would say Luc is a Kiwi, so someone from New Zealand. Luc is really happily married to a wonderful lady, Dion, his lovely wife. Luc has an amazing 1-year-old son, and Luc is an avid triathlete. So that would be the 4 ways that I would introduce myself. I think whenever anybody introduces yourself, and the things that they say about themselves to kick things off tells you a huge amount around what that person values and what that person kind of values in their life. So always an interesting question to listen to very carefully.
But you made 2 billion riyals of revenue. You were the content and head of prepaid. You were the senior prepaid marketing manager. You were the senior marketing manager. You were the marketing of product management. You were the IT application. It's a long career.
I've done a lot of things.
How old are you, Luc?
Who is Luc? Yeah.
How old are you,
I'm
Luc?
35.
35.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, okay. So, Luc, you define yourself as what means to you as a person, as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. That's who I am.
Excellent.
Sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Luc. And what do you do in Vodafone? If you could just really quickly tell us what you do on a day-to-day basis on Vodafone.
So I'm the marketing director at Vodafone, and on a day-to-day basis, we try and figure out what our customers are doing, how they're using our phones, what they're doing in their lives all through Qatar, and figure out how we can make that better with what we can do and with the partners that we can work with across the country to try and make our customers' lives a little bit better. And maybe make you more or less addicted to phones. I'm not sure how I'm going to sit on that particular challenge that you're all facing.
Very good. Thank you very much, Luc. Karim Shamma, the CEO of Doha Festival City. But before you start, anybody knows what is Doha Festival City? Yeah? Any idea? Yeah? Any? Shout it out. That's where IKEA is. Yeah? Well, Mr. Karim Shamma, could you please tell us who is Mr. Karim Shamma?
I'm heartbroken, first of all, that only one person knows what Doha Festival City is. But we're working hard to change that and to improve everyone's perception and understanding of what that project is. I'm a British Palestinian. I studied civil engineering. I worked all over the Middle East. I've worked in London. I'm also happily married, and I have 3 lovely boys who are 16 down to 11 now, so in schools, a lot of them going through the issues that you've been going through and talking about today. I've been in Doha for about 3.5 years now, working on Doha Festival City. Basically, my responsibility is to deliver this project to the owners. So I'm employed directly by the owners, and I've been given the responsibility to deliver the project.
The project, which according to Arabian Business is Doha's biggest mall with the gross total leasable area. So you're saying basically it's 250,000 square meters, and it's going to be Doha's biggest mall, basically. So you are responsible to deliver Doha's biggest mall.
Yes, but actually it's more than a mall. It's not just a mall, it's a mixed-use destination. What does that mean? That means it's actually a place where people go and meet and do whatever they really want to do in their lifestyle. So there is a hotel, there's a conference facility, places for people to organize their weddings and parties. There's a fantastic leisure component to this project. We're bringing the first snow park to Qatar. We're bringing an Angry Birds theme park. We're bringing a gaming theme park, which I know young people are very, very big into gaming these days. So that's a fantastic brand new offering. Angry Birds.
And you're going to have an ice.
A snow play, yeah, with a snow slope.
And then you're going to have what else?
A place called Virtuosity, which is a gaming theme park.
So you're going to have a gaming.
Yeah. So people who like.
Does it make sense why Doha Festival City is here right now, right? Yeah, it does make sense.
I mean, we're trying to sort of tap into what young people want these days. We don't just want to sell things in Doha Festival City. That's not what we're there for. We're also very much trying to give the community a place to meet and to organize themselves, particularly that part of the community that leans towards the arts, creativity, design, artistic endeavors. We're giving them almost a center, a hub for them to meet and to really explore their own creativity. So that's all part of the project, not just a mall.
So that's very cool. Not just a mall. Basically, I think that's what we got. Thank you very much, Karim. Guys, their biographies are so long that I have 10 papers for each one. Each one has 2 pages long of how successful those people are. So use and remember that all those people are going to talk about how they started. Some of them are sports fanatics. Some of them were nerds. Some of them were the microphone, guys, microphone. Some of them were nerds. Some of them were basketball fans. Some of them are Messi fans. So we're going to get to know them more as individuals, but before we move forward, I'll give the floor to Charles, the Vice President of IT Innovation and something else, right? Your title is very long. So for me, Charles, and I think I want to know more about you from the side of also, Charles did not finish university, and we want to hear his story too from that. I'm sorry, I'm not presenting you that you didn't finish university, but that's a very interesting story right there. Charles?
So sort of people's ways they introduce themselves, define them. So I could probably introduce myself as a university dropout. Right?
University dropout.
Yeah.
So when I asked him, why did you university? He said it was
boring.
Uh-huh. So wait. Are you telling the future youth of the country that they shouldn't go to university because it's boring?
Yeah, well, I could actually think about that. One of my interests is actually in education, and so I started the American International School in Australia after my experiences over here in the Middle East in the early 90s. I went back to Australia and I started an international school.
So you started school?
Yeah.
An actual high school?
Yeah, no, K to 12.
Okay.
Pre-K to 12, so all the way through. So one of the things I learned along the way is that our education system is broken, and we're actually training people to do things in a style which was in the days of the Industrial Revolution. So our education system was designed in the mid to late 1800s around the Industrial Revolution system. So this whole classes and everybody being of the same age and of the same sex in the classroom was all designed by the Prussians in the early 1850s. And we're still doing it now in 2015.
Charles, we will talk about the Industrial Revolution later, but you were in vice president in Emirates?
Yeah, I was in Emirates in the early 90s doing infrastructure and the early days of Emirates Airline. So this is a sort of second time around in the region.
In the region.
And I'm doing strategy, governance and innovation now, which is really more about trying to make things different and trying to make a difference and trying to change things.
So you're telling us that you're here, or your job is to change things in Qatar Airways?
Yeah.
So why is airline or Qatar Airways doesn't have a special deal for young people like Vodafone and like Doha Festival City, for example? Can we work on an idea like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to run some hackathons and things coming in the future. I'm doing work with Kari University in conjunction with the likes of Vodafone as well as other people. So we're wanting to get newer ideas and we're looking for innovations and things that are different. So if you've got something to complain about, well, rather than complaining about it,
find a solution.
Give us a suggestion.
And you're ready to hear any of their solutions?
Absolutely.
So the vice president of Qatar Airways just told you guys that he's ready to listen to what you got to say. This is basically, I think all of them here are committed to listen to what you have to say. And the reason they're all here is because they really not just want to, I don't think it's about showing off their brand, but it's more about talking about how can we as young people, for once, tell them, the adults, the people in power, the people who have access to millions of dollars of what we as young people want. Right? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Charles. Thank you. This guy was 19 years in banking, business, finance, audit. He was working with the top Canadian banks. He opened his own company called Life Connect Canada. He's a basketball fan. When I sit in meetings with him, everything is about basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, Nael from Afif Charity.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Nael Salahuddin. I would like to view myself as a dream to continue, evolve, to achieve. I wasn't born this way, but it just happened to be that this is the way how I want to be. I'm married. I have a wonderful daughter. She's the inspirations of my life and the neighborhood as well. And we have an upcoming baby next month. I hope that we're going to become healthy and we're going to join you guys to be young and want to achieve. There is a lot to tell. Currently that I am leading a non-traditional charity that hoping that can really do a change with the youth. So you are the future, and I would love to talk to you about it more and more. Thank you.
What is Afif Charity? Wait. Who knows Afif Charity here? Why? How do you guys know Afif Charity? You volunteered with them? Yeah, you did? Yeah, both of you? Yeah, for Ramadan with the youth company? Yeah, you know Afif Charity? How do you know about Afif? Newspapers and stuff? I can't hear you. Volunteers, yeah, you see? What is Afif Charity? Because you guys are in 6 countries and you have partnerships all over the Arab world.
Well, we are in 6 countries in such programs, but we're even more than that. We are over than 20 countries. We started in 2012, and we have one vision. It's just to have people who are in needs to be reaching a financial independency. And this is non-traditional charity, so we are not focusing on just giving. We are
Wait, I'm sorry. What's financial what? What did you say?
Financial independency. That's mean a person who are in need and who is depending on others to get welfare or get some,
So basically
donation.
people who will get help, donations.
Yes, we want to change that. We want them to become donors. We want them to become productive and independent.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much, Nael.
Thank you.
He was the general manager of Hilton Qatar, Mr. Adham. Hilton Al Ain, senior director of operations at Hilton Barbados, and Hilton general manager for Hilton Curacao. Where is Curacao?
Curacao.
Sorry. Do you guys know where Curacao is? Yeah, no. Anybody?
He must be Dutch. My name is Adham, as he just mentioned now. And first, let me take this opportunity to thank you for inviting me. And thank you for coming all the way here to Hilton. We are hosting that, and we are very proud and very glad to be among our customers. I am Egyptian, but I did not work in Egypt for a very long time. Around maybe 21 years, I left Egypt after graduation from hotel management school, which most of you, I think, are approaching or in university now. And then started my career in Hilton in Egypt and went all the way to many places, right and left, in Africa, Asia, here in the Gulf. And the most strange one was the Caribbean experience, which falls Barbados and Curacao as a Dutch Antilles island. So very colorful, nice islands.
So you've been all around the world?
I've been lucky to be all around the world with Hilton. I'm married, have 3 kids.
25 years with Hilton, I think?
Yeah, I know Hilton longer than I know my wife.
Excellent.
So I'm with Hilton for around 26 years now. So it's a very long journey, which is, again, give another message to youth people about being engaged with international companies and being loyal to these companies. And not necessarily it has to be applied to anyone, but there is still people that can work in companies and go all the way and be engaged with this type of companies. Yeah, so I think you'll have a lot of questions.
Yes, I will ask all the questions. Yes, thank you very much. And I think we should start. But as you guys can see, we have Vodafone Qatar, Doha Festival City, Qatar Airways, Afif Charity, and Hilton. We got you a diversified group of people who are decision makers. As I said, I've worked individually with each one on this chair, and they're quite busy. They're very, very busy. So thank you very much, first of all, for being here and telling us about when you were 17. I especially want to thank Vodafone for powering this conference, Vodafone Falla. And I'm sure everybody here got a Vodafone Falla when they signed up. And Doha Festival City for being, both of them, sponsors and making this conference happen. Also, we would like to thank the American Embassy, that is also a sponsor for the conference. But let's start. And I think I'll start with you, Luke. Luke, according to your portfolio here, it says 2 billion riyals in revenue annually. That was one of your achievements. Basically, you brought in 2 billion riyals. I think, yes, this one.
That's a lot of phone calls. It is a lot of phone calls. So I think I've been lucky enough to join Vodafone Qatar 6.5 years ago, before even a single customer joined our network. So it was before we'd even launched the first cell site. So I've seen it right from nothing, from the first 1,000 customers, right up to where we are now with over 1.5 million customers using our network every day, every month.
Were those challenges that you were faced with?
With those challenges, there was quite a... There's not many startup telecoms companies in the world anymore. Like most of them, even like QTEL Ooredoo, that was probably a late starter in terms of the telecom sphere. Most people started back in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. So to start a telecoms company in 2009 was something that I don't think anybody on the team had ever done before. We're all used to working in like big Vodafone opcos, and getting everything from nothing to here has been like a really amazing 6 years.
But Luke, I want to hear more about the challenges, because I'll go back to when you were 17. Can you tell me about what was the biggest challenge at your age at 17?
At my age at 17, there were 2 challenges. One was passing, I think, level 2 university calculus.
Were you a nerd?
One of my biggest challenges. I was a sporty nerd, so I was kind of nerdy, but I was good at sports.
What do you mean by kind of nerdy? Were you a nerd, yes or no?
Yes, I was a nerd at school.
Yes?
I was
okay.
like in the smart class. I was a nerd that I had a few friends, but they were also nerds.
So glasses and your pants still here, socks out?
Come on, not that bad.
Okay,
not that bad,
okay,
Mo.
Okay, but why am I asking that? So your challenge was to pass a math class?
So 2 challenges: pass a math class and represent my country in water skiing in different tournaments all around the world. So
Wait, water
they were my-
skiing? What do you mean
water
by
skiing? So I was, you see people out wakeboarding here. So before there was wakeboarding, there was water skiing, where we used to slalom and trick and jump, and sort of a different style of wakeboarding. And I was on the New Zealand team for that for 12
Did you win
years.
anything?
Did I win any? I got like a 2nd and a 4th, and I never quite
he
won.
never won the first place, right?
Yeah, I never quite won. In New Zealand I won, but not on the not in the world. I never won.
But do you think the not winning the first place helped you a lot in reaching where you are today?
I think not winning always made you like hungry to do more. I think always like being around other people that are better than you at the stuff that you want to be good at is the best way to get good at it. Like that for me, for sure. If you could train with or study with or hang out with the people that were really good at the stuff that you were trying to get better at, you just couldn't help but get better because you just saw what they did, how they did it, and even without trying, you're going to pick up some good stuff.
Luke, what was your biggest mistake at the age of 17? I know that's a long time ago, but if you had to be like, shoot, I regret doing...
At the age of 17, I regret stressing about some of the stuff at 17 that
Like what?
wasn't very
Like
important.
what? Like what? Like your math class, but what?
Like
else?
my math class, like some of the things that my parents made me do.
Like what? What did your parents make you do at the age of 17?
My parents made me. They were pretty strict on the study and on the spending the time on really. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so my mum was definitely a perfectionist. So she would, 80%, 90% was never really good enough if you could get to 100%. And
Do you regret, or are you happy that she was like that? Do you
Part of me is
believe
happy.
that because your mother was so harsh on you, you are where you are right now as the director of marketing of one of the largest telecommunication companies?
In part, for sure. So
Yeah?
in part, it's a good skill to have and it's a good thing to appreciate. And I think when you're also 16, 17, 18, it can have a downside of it focuses you on a couple of things to do really, really well, rather than giving you the opportunity to do a few more different things and figure out what you're good at and what you enjoy the most.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Luke. I will move to Kareem. Kareem,
Yes, sir.
what was your biggest challenge when you were 17? Were you a nerd? Were you a hard studying person who didn't go out, didn't have any friends, and
No, I found a balance, actually. I was very hard studying. I took my studies very seriously, and I was very conscientious about, getting good marks and finishing my homework and doing that sort of thing. But I also found a balance. I had another side to me, which was, I'd go out and party on the weekends and so forth. So I think you can find that kind of balance between, it's not always easy, but you can find it.
so you're saying that you at the age of 17 you found the balance?
I think I did.
How did you reach that balance without doing a few mistakes?
We all make mistakes. I mean,
What
but-
was one of the mistakes of Kareem at the age of 17, the CEO of Doha Festival City? Today, well, you're today the CEO, but at that age, what was one of the mistakes that you did?
That's a very good question. I don't think I made any big mistakes,
Really?
to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And what you asked about things that you regret, and I think one of the things I do regret at 17 is that I didn't make more mistakes.
You want to make more mistakes?
I think people at this age probably should make more mistakes than
Like
I,
what?
than I made.
What should I? Basically, are you saying that I shouldn't do my homework and consider that a mistake, or I shouldn't apply to university or SATs or TOEFL or IELTS?
No, you should do all those things.
Okay.
But what you should do is also be brave enough to explore the world and not be too dictated to. I think there's a tendency for us to be intimidated by adults at that age.
Tell us about a quick fight you had about your parents and made you realize that, you know what?
A fight.
Not a fight necessarily, but, an argument. Because, the whole reason of this panel is we look at you guys in newspapers, we see you in magazines, and we're like, wow, they're amazing people. They're doing amazing projects. They're doing amazing things. But we tend to forget that you guys were 17 at one point. And we want to know, what did you do? what didn't you do, and what would you advise us, all of us? I think the first row and every single other row, what would you advise us, and what did you regret not doing at that age? Because all of them, I think most of us have issues with our parents at this age, right? No? No, mashallah, all of you are good boy, good, okay. Kareem?
Look, I had issues with my parents, and I think everybody does, unless you're extremely lucky in some idyllic relationship. My parents got divorced, and you know, I didn't grow up in an ideal household by any means.
Do you believe that because of that challenge that you went through, because your parents were divorced, it made you a stronger, more resilient person today?
I think you do develop characteristics to your nature that are a result of seeing what your parents do, definitely. The parental relationship, I think, is one of the most influencing factors in your life. And watching a good, strong relationship between your mother and father is going to give you the confidence in life later on. I went through a period of insecurity, watching my parents fight, watching my parents split up, left me with a lot of issues in life which you have to learn to deal with. And it can take a long, long time to deal with those things.
Who should we go to, or how, if we are faced with issues like that at that age? Especially when parents are involved, you know, those are the people that you see on a day-to-day basis.
Brothers and sisters are your first point of call, definitely. Your brothers and sisters share the same experience as you in those situations. So they're your first point of call. You have to depend on them. You have to talk to them.
Very good. Thank you, Kareem. Thank you.
Yeah,
Charles?
well, that's brought the mood down.
No, but this is the whole point. It's to understand that they're human, that there are people that we can relate to. There are people that... during the day, Kareem is, as you heard, he's planning on the building of one of the largest or the largest mall in Qatar, while having 4 different entertainment, while managing hundreds of staff.
Sorry, Mohammed, I just want to share something with everybody here.
Yes.
And it's some experience that I've found out in life as you live your life. When I was young and I was starting my career, I used to sit in meetings and watch people, you know, dressed in suits, and think, God, these people know so much. And
we
you know,
we really do think you do so much.
yeah.
You know so much.
And you know, the fact is, they're all humans, and they're all just people, and nobody knows more than anybody else. There's something I've learnt as I get older and I you know, live my life and I work through my life. I've discovered that there are no smarter people than anybody else. You go to sit in one of those meetings and you think to yourself, I won't ask a question because I'll look stupid. But actually, everybody's sitting there thinking the same question. And if you open your mouth and you have the courage to say, I don't understand that, what does that mean? Do you know 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, everybody joins in and says, oh, I was thinking that. Yes, they'll ask the same question. Don't be intimidated. Do not be intimidated. People who look like me, who wear a suit and have a big high-profile job, we don't know any more than you know.
Yes, you do. That's why you have that job.
No, we don't know more. We've been through more experience, but we don't know more.
So you're saying that knowledge is one thing and experience is a complete different thing.
It's a different thing. Common sense is the main thing. Common sense.
Common sense.
Just depend, and this is if I leave you with one thing, it is depend on your own common sense. Okay? Think, I know, I'm able, I'm confident. Depend on your common sense. If it sounds right to you, it probably is right. And nobody else knows more than you. That's a fact. They may be more experienced, they may have more information ahead, but they don't know more than you.
We're not done with you, Kareem, but we'll move the microphone to Charles. So basically, you started the speech by saying you opened a school, and then you said you left university. Can you explain, how do you not have a degree and you're a vice president of one of the best airlines in the world?
I ended up being lucky enough to find something I enjoyed doing.
What is that?
Technology.
So you like technology?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
technology and what it does is for people, not just for itself.
But technology is hip, young, modern.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that sort of keeps you going when you get to my age is I've got to actually keep up with everybody else.
So do you Snapchat?
Yeah, I do all sorts
Does
of bits and
Qatar Airways have a Snapchat account?
No.
Why?
We're still Instagramming, and we've just got to 10 million likes on Facebook, which is the first airline in the world that's got to 10 million likes on Facebook. So we're sort of, we're trying to get there, but we're in a reasonably conservative environment. So, and airlines as an industry are quite conservative.
But do you know about Snapchat?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use it?
Account. I know
you
how
have a
to use
Snapchat
it.
account.
Yeah.
Woo!
But I don't really use
He
it.
has a Snapchat account. I don't even have a Snapchat account.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about one of your challenges when you were 17? Or your challenges at the age of 17?
Well, I think when I dropped out of university when I was 17, the biggest thing that I was trying to think about was how was I going to explain this to my father?
How did you explain that to your father?
How did I explain it to him? I just told him in the end because I was...
What did he say when you told him, Dad, I dropped out of university?
Oh, I think he got fairly angry with me at the time. We used to call my father Colonel Gaddafi.
Oh.
So he was a fairly harsh guy. And
But you still went and dropped out of university?
Yeah, I still did it because I was like a lot of people were talking before, overthinking things, and I got to the stage where I'd been thinking too much, and then I just decided either my head would explode or I would just blurt it out and do it. So, but that wasn't the major lesson I learned out of that. The major lesson I learned was not how will I explain it to my parents. It's really, you've got to take charge of your own life. And so I needed to explain it to myself.
Yeah, again, I'm sorry, but you're saying take a charge of your own life. We're all here living, or most of us live here under our parents, right? With our parents, yeah? How do you expect us to take charge of our lives? Because maybe that happened, did that happen in Australia?
That was actually, I'm a New Zealander originally.
Oh, okay, a Kiwi.
But I spent 25 years in Australia, so I'm mixed up now.
Very good. So that happened in Australia, in New Zealand, but it doesn't happen in Qatar. Like, even if anyone here wanted to, they can't.
Well, I mean, people said the same thing in New Zealand at the time. You can't either.
But
so it was a different sort of a period of time. It wasn't like last year in New Zealand. It was in the 70s.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I mean, basically, it was a different environment, and so you have to take charge of your own situation.
You left university. You decided to drop off out of university, even though your father was like Gaddafi, and you. What happened? What did you do in between? How did you start? Where did you go?
Well, I used to say to people, I was a success waiting for somewhere to happen. So that was the thing that I had in my head all the time, but I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just went out and did as many jobs as possible that I could
what?
do.
What was the first job you did after you dropped out of university?
I worked in an abattoir and a freezing works. I was just talking to my wife actually on the way in to the Hilton on the way in. She's in Australia at the moment, and I said, I'm going to be here talking to you about what I did when I was 17. And she said, are you going to tell them about pulling the skins off the outsides of 7,000 sheep's kidneys in one day when I was working at the abattoir? I took up trapping and skinning possums, so I did that out in the bush for
how much
3 or
did
4
you
months.
make? How much did you make by skinning 7,000?
Well, it was actually pretty good in the freezing works. We were making about, in those days, probably $200 a week.
A week. So that's around what? 700 riyals?
Yeah, but in those days it would have been sort of the equivalent of making maybe 15, 20,000 riyals in today's money. So it was good money, but after taking the skins off the outside of 7,000 kidneys, I decided that money wasn't the be-all and end-all, so I left next day.
But what is it, Charles? Because in a lot of people would think that if you dropped out of university, that means you're a failure.
Yeah, but you're only a failure if it's a failure in your own mind. So other people were telling me I was a failure and I've got to settle down and do all this. but I'm not living their life. I'm living my own life. So it has to be a failure in your own mind. And I was sure, absolutely certain I'm not a failure, because I didn't think I was a failure. And I decided, even though some of the results of my life to that stage might have been rated by other people on a scorecard as being a failure, but in my life it wasn't going to be a failure. It was just on a journey.
Charles, do you ever regret sometimes your decision where you said, oh, I wish I graduated from that university?
Never.
Never.
Not in a day.
You never regretted your decision?
Never. I've thought about maybe I should go back, because a lot of the other people that I'm working with have MBAs and doctorates and other things else like that. But it just makes me try harder, because if I have to come up against them, then I have to come up against them with capability and not with a piece of paper. So it actually keeps me honest and keeps me trying harder every day. But I still feel that, for me, academic study was like having a long disease. It was like being in hospital for 4 years, right? And I still even look back on schooling and I'm thinking, we go to primary school and secondary school, and we go there for between 12 and 14 years, and I'm thinking, what are we actually learning? So I'm really focused on outcomes these days. I'm not really focused on the individual process.
What is one of your biggest regrets at the age of 17 then? If it wasn't for you to leave university, what does Charles, today the vice president in Qatar Airways, one of the best airlines in the world, regrets?
I think it was back to regretting that I was worried about when I left university. I was worried about what would my father think and how would I explain it to him, rather than actually realizing at that stage I should have been thinking about what I think. So I regret not waking up earlier to actually understanding that my life is in my own hands, even though certain situations and circumstances can dictate the boundaries of what we can and we can't do. And you mentioned this before about, say, the environment here, but your decisions are still in your own hands. And that's the only regret that I had earlier. But really, I don't regret anything. I've done a lot of crazy and stupid things, right?
Like?
Like riding my 1100cc motorbike through a bar of crowded people, a crowded bar of about 300 or 400 people, slinging it sideways, just about going through the plate glass window.
Okay, Charles. No.
See, that's the problem about inviting me along here. You'll ask me questions and I'll tell you the truth.
Thank you very much, Charles. So the first time I actually went to see Nael, his first question to me was, who does your finances? And I understand now, because you spent 19 years in finance, banking, auditing. How boring. Could you explain to us, where does that, when you were 17, and I think you want us to play something?
Well, yeah, I would love to.
Can we play something?
Before it starts, I'm really inviting you to, with an open heart, to listen to this story. It's a true story. It's happened when I was 19, but that was not the beginning.
Play.
الله سبحانه وتعالى أنعم علي بكثير شغلات. من أحلى الشغلات اللي أنعم علي إني دربت كرة سلة أيام ما كنت أنا طالب بالجامعة. دربت يعني شباب أعمارهم تقريبا بالإعدادي، وكانوا مليئين بالنشاط ودائما بدهم يربحوا وبدهم يغيروا وبدهم يصيروا شغلة كتير كبيرة. وبيوم من الأيام أجى لعنا ولد حابب يلعب معنا كرة سلة. هذا الولد مشكلته إنه وزنه زايد، بس مع ذلك ضل يصر عليه إنه أنا بدي أتعلم وبدي أتعلم. فنحن كنا نقول مرحبا وأهلا وسهلا بالجميع، وهو صار يتدرب وحتى يقعد بعد أوقات التدريب، ودائما كان يتدرب على الشوطة بيقولوا لها شوطة 3 نقط، ويكررها 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 حتى صار بالفعل كتير شاطر فيها. وكان له هيك نقطة معينة إذا استلم فيها الطابة دائما كان يسجل. وبيوم من الأيام كان في عنا مباراة ودية بين الشباب تبعاتي اللي هن من الإعدادي والشباب اللي أكبر منهم اللي هن من الثانوي. طبعا شباب الثانوي انهم قالوا مباراة سهلة كتير ونحن هدول رح نربحهم، بس بالفعل الشباب اللي عندي كانوا كتير 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 متحمسين وبدهم يربحوا، والمباراة كانت حاسمة ووصلت للدقيقة الأخيرة. بالدقيقة الأخيرة كنا نحن 2 تعادل، قام سجلوا الفريق الثانوي سلة، يعني صاروا هن متقدمين بنقطتين وما عاد بقيان غير 10 ثواني، فطلبت وقت مستقطع. بهذا الوقت المستقطع طلعت على الفريق كلياته وقلت لهم نحن لازم نربح ولازم تركزوا وتعطوا الطابة لفلان. قام بيقاطعني هذا الشاب الصغير اللي وزنه زايد وبيقول لي كوتش 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 الله يخليك ممكن انا العب اليوم؟ انا اذا حطيت 3 نقط رح نربح المباراة كلياتها. اغلب الشباب اللي عندي وبتعرفهم يعني شباب صغار بلشوا يضحكوا عليه وهيك ويتمسخروا، بس انا سمعت بصوته جدية ما سمعتها من قبل، فقررت اني انا دخله وعدلت على الخطة وقلت انه بتدور الطابة وبفكروها انه النجوم تبعنا اللي هن اللي حيسجلوا، بس اخر شيء الطابة بتروح لهذا الشاب. وبالفعل صفر الحكم وانطلقت الطابة، والطابة دارت من ايد لايد ووصلت لعند هذا الولد، وهو من حظه كان المكان اللي هو دائما بيحب يسجل منه فاضي، وترفعت الطابة وكل عيون عليها ودخلت ال3 نقط وربح الفريق. والملعب كله قام وقعد وحضراني كانت المدرسة والبلشت الناس تصفر واللي يضحك واللي كان يوم رائع جدا جدا جدا. أجل عندي هذا الولد وعيونه عم تدمع وقال لي شكرا 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 شكرا. طبعا أنا كنت عم بسمع إنه شكرا يعني عادية، يعني إني أنا مثلا لعبته، فوقفني هو ومسكني من قميصي وقال لي شكرا كوتش. قلت له أهلا وسهلا. قال لي بس تعرف ليش أنا عم أقول لك شكرا؟ قلت له لا. قال لي أنا عم أقول لك شكرا مو لأنك أنت خليتني ألعب اليوم، أنا عم أقول لك شكرا لأنه أنت وثقت فيني. أنا بالفعل وقت سمعت هاي الكلمة ما بعرف كل بدني أشعر وتغيرت كتير شغلات جواتي، ووقت رحت على البيت صرت أسمع الكلمة أكتر وأكتر. واللي قدرت أفهمه بعدين أنه إذا عطينا ثقتنا لحدا ممكن يصنع المعجزات، ممكن يغير شغلات نحن نقول عليها مستحيلة كان نقول عليها صعبة. وهذا الحدا ممكن ما يكون شخص غريب، ممكن تكون أنت. فكر فيها. بشوفكم مرة الجاية.
نائل. By the way, that was Nail, yeah? Really quickly, sum up that in a sentence for our non-Arabic speakers.
I was a basketball coach when I was 19, and I was teaching kids in the elementary school / 14 years old. And a kid with the extra weight came and joined us. And, everybody was laughing at him. And, you're a loser, you're not going to do anything. But he did not listen. He just do the drills that we do. And then actually he stayed after practice and he shot 3 points. Because of his extra weight, he was able to push the ball in that age and score beyond the arch. And he keep repeating it, and then almost he perfected from a certain angles. And we had kind of friendly games with teams from the high schools, which is that they were about 2 to 3 years older. And the high school teams, they were like, okay, we're gonna win it, it's easy, whenever. My team was very, very good, and they were competitive. In the last minute, it was tie. I call a timeout. No, before I call timeout, they score. So we were down by 2 points. I call a timeout. I want to do something, especially with my good players. The fat kids, sorry to call him fat, but he was fat. And he came in and say, Coach, if I score the 3 points, we win. And I listened to his voice, and there is something was there. There's a profound dream, there's a profound power. Something touched me. And I said, you know what? It's a friendly game. You're in. We draw the plan. We give him the ball. He scores. And things were up and down. He stopped me after the game crying. And he said, thank you. And I was okay. Thank you. No problem. He goes, look, do you know why I'm thanking you? I goes like, no. He goes like, because you trust me. And his words, it's actually, I keep listening to it over and over. And I realized that if somebody is trusting somebody, they can do impossible. And this somebody could be you.
Great. People trust you with their money. Nail, people trust you with their money. They give you their money out of charity for you to help other people. Right?
Yes.
Tell us more about that. Tell us, How at the age of 17, what were you doing at the age of 17 that made you realize today managing Afif charity in several other countries and helping other people? How do you see that connecting? How did you end up from where you were as a basketball coach, from that experience that you're sharing, to where you are today?
Well, it started when I was grade 8. I had an injury in my knee. I used to play soccer at the street like everybody else. And the doctor, they were, old-fashioned guys that they don't want to, keep having me coming back. They said, you know what, your knee is busted, you have to stay home, there's no sport for you. And he killed my dream in 3 words: no more sport. So I had to sit home. I got fat too. I tried some chess. I wasn't that good. And I moved to the high schools, and then everybody's playing basketball. So I said, there is no problem with somebody shooting me again in that knee. It's easier. So I started to learn it. I like it. I love it. And then became a bit good. And then I joined a team, a league. And then I became a member of a league. We played. But I wasn't able to compete because I started so late. If you want to be really good, like my friend over there, you got to start really, really early. And I realized that, you know what, if I couldn't do it, somebody else should do it. And then we started this team. And from that moment, I knew that if I couldn't do it myself, I can actually help somebody else to do it. And I dropped out of school, out of these passions. I hate school as well. I wasn't that good because people tell me that you are not good. I was only good with math. But
obviously.
I cannot memorize, and then go to an exam, 3 hours exam, and just tell them what I memorized. I find it so stupid. Sorry.
We all find it stupid, right? Yeah.
So, in the school that it was in my area, it was a good school, but according to the traditional standard. So I had to get to finance. Why? Because security, jobs. I was afraid. In my childhood, my parents went through a hardship financially, and that took a big toll on me, and I felt...
So are you telling us we should go to something that will make us financially stable rather than going to something that will make us happy?
Well,
because that's what Charles doesn't say. I think Charles and I think the rest of the panel would disagree with you.
Sure. No. What's happened that I went to finance, and I became good at finance, and then I keep doing whatever I did, but it wasn't really my passion.
What is your passion?
My passion is people.
People.
Dreams.
And that's why you opened Life Connect Canada?
Yes.
What is Life Connect Canada?
Life Connect Canada is about this youth need to be reconnected to the real power, which is the dreams. My real inspiration is my 3 years old. You know why? Try to tell any 3 years old in the world no, and watch. Really watch. Tell them no, and see how they will do it. So what's happened that I was defeated when I was 17, I was 19, that I did not win the game. I went through the rules. I went through the books, I got the job, I became good at jobs, and I
Do you regret?
Yes, but this is not the things that I really regret, because that's make me half of who I am.
But is that what you regret, going into finance?
No, what I really regret that I was rude.
You were rude. How rude were you?
Well, I pick up fights with people if they disagree with me. Yes.
You had
like argument, not like I don't.
Shouting out loud.
Yeah, and I don't call them friends anymore. So.
Okay.
Maybe I call them names too.
But you don't get angry anymore out loud. You don't shout at one of your staff because they're not.
I just learned that I was stupid.
And you were stupid when you were 17.
Yeah, I was angry.
So we can easily say that the general manager of Afif Charity is saying that he was stupid when he was 17.
I approve this message.
Very good.
Well, yeah, because I was angry on myself, and then I blame others, and did not work well. The really transformation, the really things happened that when I immigrated to Canada, that was back in early 2000s. And I want to move up in management. I became seniors, but not very, very seniors. And one of my friends, she said, you know what, you need to go and do this course. That will make you better. So I sit down and I really learned that what's really, really stopping me of moving forward was me. And from that moment, I started to study about leadership, communications, and I flourish.
Did you, when you went to that course, did you really say to yourself, yeah, that's my place?
Yes.
Did you imagine yourself being where you are today, talking in a leadership conference to 100 youth because of that course? Did you ever imagine that?
No, I was just want to move one step up in the stupid ladder things.
Yeah?
That's it. This is always was my dream. But in that moment, they took off the lead. And I realized that there is more in this life.
What is more than this life?
Is changing others.
Changing others.
Yes.
Do you think you change others?
Yes. There is something we call synergy. I will become better if you are better, because we will live in a better society.
And that's why you're here today?
Yes.
And that's why you're working for Afif Charity?
That's my
Trying
purpose.
to make people's lives better and financially independent.
Absolutely. That's my purpose.
Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you.
Wait, I'm just so I can have the right. Hilton, how many visitors do you guys have a week or a weekend? Average.
Let me stand up first. And one reason to stand up is to see the people sitting at the back, who, when I was in their age, I was always sitting at the back.
Why? Were you a nerd?
Definitely.
So you sat in the back. That's why.
I was never serious.
You were never serious.
Never serious. Still up to now, by the way. And always joking, always laughing, always jumping, always having fun, and never a serious student.
Was that your challenge?
It was never a challenge. I was living the moment. I was living my age. I was enjoying everything I'm doing, and
Yeah, but you had to be serious at some point to go into university.
I was always in university. I was not serious, unfortunately.
Did you fail when you were in university?
Not really.
So
But-
you went to the
but
university in Cairo.
I was in the only hotel management university in Egypt was where I went. It was 4 years degrees, and at that time we had all professors coming from the U.S., but Egyptians all studying in the U.S. and coming, and they took our. I was lucky that our section, we were only 40 students, by the way, and they took charge of us for 4 years. They were very serious, coming from the US. They want to graduate a good generation for Egypt to work in the tourism industry.
So you weren't. So if we had to say a quote, the general manager of Hilton says he was never serious.
Yeah, I was not.
How are you managing this hotel? How can you walk down your corridor in your restaurants in any? How can you be able to achieve anything if you're not serious?
Very good. I really want to stress the point that when I was a student, when I was in that age, I was not serious. Means I don't study 5 hours a day. I don't study even 5 minutes a day. And I was sitting at the back like the people there. I was putting my hand like this. I was down in the chair, and I was playing. Maybe there was no phones to play with at that time, unfortunately.
What did you used to do while you didn't do your studying?
However, now it's very important. The message here: how can you be not serious and being where I am? There is no luck in life, and there is no coincidence. I think the most important, life is a journey. A journey that starts with a newborn who will come after 3 months and end at some time. So we have to, number one, live the journey from A to Z, whenever it starts and whenever it ends. We have to get the best out of it. So, and everyone has his own personality and his own mindset. The most important message here is to pick and to choose your attitude. Your attitude is the one that sets the tone for your career. At the age of 17...
What do you mean of attitude? Could you tell us what do you mean by attitude?
Attitude means who you are. Now, you need to set your mind what you want to do in your life. Some people at the age of 17, they know. Most of the people, they don't know. Correct? So they don't know what I will be. I will be a banker. I will be a hotelier. I will be a marketeer. Or. Maybe only few people at the age of 17, they know they want to be a doctor. And they go to medicine, and they go to faculty of medicine, and so on.
Did you know that you would be managing at least 4 hotels in your life?
Definitely no. I wanted to be a hotelier. I was lucky enough to know. Actually, I started to work at the age of 16.
What were you working at the age of 16?
I went to a small hotel. I was just graduated from high school, and I decided to work. And this is how there is a difference between being serious in studying and having high note and grades, and different being serious, you want to achieve things in your life. And I decided to work. And my family, thanks God, we don't need money. I mean, my father and mother were really living good life. But I decided to go and work.
Why? So you're saying at the age of 16 you decided to
To work,
start
I
working
started-
even though you didn't need the money.
And it was a summer vacation, actually. And the first work I went to as a telephone operator. You know, telephone operator at that time, they answered phones. And the first hotel was Holiday Inn Sphinx. I was graduated from a French school. So I am Egyptian, speak Arabic, and then French school. And English was my third language. So I was not, and we were not practicing a lot when you go in French school. So they told me, this is your 1 day, 2 days, 3 days training. Now we are alone. You start, you say, good morning, Holiday Inn Sphinx. How can I help you?
Tell us about how was that? Did you do mistakes when you were doing that?
Absolutely, this is what I'm coming from. So very normal, this is how you start. And I have some colleagues here from the Hilton here, very embarrassing story. So the first telephone that comes, and I was, as I told you, not very clever in English language, I said, good morning, Holiday Inn Sphinx, can you help me? and the people, you know, the reception calls me and say, guy, what are you doing? Can you help? And then people did not help me at that time, and then I am who I am now, you know. So do mistakes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you accept that any of them have an internship in Hilton Doha and do that mistake in your hotel?
Immediately and instantly, and we only.
So we can say that the general manager of Hilton is giving you the opportunity to come and have a training or an internship in Hilton Doha, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we have our learning and development person is there, and we in Hilton and me as an individual, he's standing there.
Yeah.
We really
could you wave, please? Yeah, this is the guy. Go to this guy, he will give you a job.
So we really, as an individual, I believe in growing people because this is how we are here and this is how we, and Hilton as a family and as a company, I don't want to talk a lot about Hilton, we are really, really into growing talents and into that age, the youth age.
Adham, how do you run today one of the best or one of the most successful hotels? And what from your age of 17 years old did you get that until today you still have and you use it every single day to manage this hotel? Give us a trait or a value or an
I think
ethic.
there's some recipes. You have to, number one, to like what you do. So you don't go to work because
Should we like what we do or should we love what we do?
Well, of course, you have to love what you do, like what you do, love what you do. Love is a stronger word.
Do you love or like what you do?
I love. I mean, I'm a different person. You can ask my team. I love what I am doing and I have a passion for it. And that's very important. Of course, everybody will tell you, oh, yes, we like what you do, but really you have to have the passion inside you. So if you decide to be a marketer, you like marketing, you love marketing, and you embrace all that and you are into that. That's number one. Number two, because I choose hotel business and hotels deal with people. So you have to have that as well, that you like to serve people. You know, I love to serve people. I can go to the restaurant now and see something wrong and I speak to the people, take an order for a water or for a Coca-Cola or for anything. I have no problem. Being a general manager or being anything in life, you like to serve people, you come at home, I am the one who serve you. You know, so it's inside you, that's something that you like and you are proud and you do it with a big smile. I'm a smiley person all the time. Whenever you come to the hotel, you find me smiling because I'm happy. And being happy, I like people to be happy and make things that make them happy. So we are always, all the time, and we were discussing this morning with my team about there was a question in one survey, is this hotel, their manager, is he creative enough and making a lot of changes? They were all laughing because I am super creative and super like change. Change is fun and we have always to think changes in our life.
So if we come to ideas of change and how can you make this hotel more friendly for young people, you're ready to listen?
I'm always ready. You know that
Yeah.
I'm always ready to
So
listen.
tomorrow at 6, when all of those youth are going to come up with their projects, and potentially one of those projects needs the support of Hilton, and you see that would be a creative and innovative project, you would potentially support it?
You see, we cannot live without creativity and without new ideas. Otherwise, we will be stagnant and we will not grow. So we really need this age in particular, and we have a lot of that age in the hotel here, coming especially from hotel schools in Europe. We do accept that. I wish if we have hotel schools here that give us more internship here, we'll be very happy and very proud of that. Yes, ready to listen, and we need ideas all the time. And you know, I just want to comment it about business, and always remember, even if you are a doctor or if anything in life, and this is what I learned, and this is what I say to my team, you know, no money, no honey. Okay? So...
what do you mean no money, no honey?
Money and honey. So why we have ideas, why we have projects, why we are doing all this we have to be commercially minded. I know it does not sound for some people, and we have to look at other aspects of business, but at the end of the day, you have to be successful. And a big part of the success is measured by how commercial you are, how financially you are correct.
But I disagree with you. I'll tell you why. Because when we first said that we wanted to do the conference here, we got a pretty high price. And when it reached your desk, it was very much lowered. So you let go of some commercial to allow us to be here.
Because this is part of the belief that we have to serve the community, we have to be engaged with them, and we have to encourage the youth as well to participate, and this is a big gain for us. Being me here, listening to them, and they listen to me, that's a gain. Again, at the end of the day, I have to take decisions for the hotel that are commercially sound correct, and for my region, for my owner. And everybody sitting on this panel have the same, most of them. You have to take that in a big scale, no money, no honey, that we have to be smart, and we have to be creative, and we have to work as well to achieve. You know, our founder, Conrad Hilton, say, in order to accomplish big things, you have first to dream big dreams.
So Adham, General Manager of Hilton Doha, is telling us, no money, no honey. Thank you. I'm being told that we have 10 minutes left. So how are we going to do this is we're going to open the question to the floor. We have 2 people here with microphones. Any question? Any question? And we're actually, I would like to thank Lindsay at the back. Lindsay, stand up, please. Stand up. She is from the American Embassy in Doha, and they're one of our sponsors. Thank you very much. We have Global Shapers Doha here. Could you please stand up just to show yourselves? Questions? Yes.
This question is to Mr. Charles. You didn't complete your degree. Do you think that if any one of us abandons our degree, we can get away with it today? Because all jobs require a degree. All jobs. You won't even qualify for them.
All jobs, but you're the vice president in Qatar Airways. You do have a job, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question of getting away with it, right? I mean, it's not sort of sneaking out of school or trying to get away with it. You have to have a direction. So if you're going somewhere and you're doing it for a reason, there's lots of famous people who have dropped out of university, but they haven't dropped out and gone and sat on the beach. You know, Bill Gates is one of them. So the guys that founded Hewlett-Packard were others as well. Yeah, Steve Jobs. These people.
Are you saying we have a Steve Jobs and a Mark Zuckerberg in front of us?
I don't know. Depends on where you're looking. Right? It's all about perspective. But so it's whatever journey and direction you're taking it. So if you drop out of university or school to go and sit on the beach, no, I think that's a bit of a waste of time unless you end up, working at the Hilton or doing something or other else on the beach. That'll further your life. But you can do anything you want to do in life. You've just got to decide on it. So it's really up to you.
It's up to you. Thank you, Charles. Yes.
Well, with my grades, I'm actually capable of being a doctor, but I don't really find it interesting at all. And I really love computer science. And my dream is to be a computer science engineer, but I don't really want to disappoint my parents. So I would like to ask from you, like, what do you think I should do? Do something that I'm capable of, or should I do something that I love?
Question for me?
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. You can be successful in anything that you want. If you want to study medicine like your parents want, you could be that, but you will live with no love. I know a lot of people like this, and they are successful, and they have happy family, and they're okay. But the real questions, really questions, is that if you are good in something, you will be the Steve Jobs of it. Not just like any other doctors. You know that how many doctors graduated every year? Thousands around the globe. And they serve, and they are really doing a good job for the community, and they make money. But do they love this? It's another question. So find your drive and be good at it, and everybody else will come to, oh my God, you were right. So It's up to you. You can live happy anyway, but you need to find the drive. And that's the toughest questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just you can probably also combine both of it. I was at a Microsoft Imagine Cup in Bahrain the other day, and the winners was a team from Palestine. And they were doing brain control computing for prosthetic limbs. So they were actually doing something that was for medical benefit, it was for a charitable cause, but it was also involving computing. So if you just try harder and you think about it, there's often different ways to embody your passion in with what is also practical for you in your own life.
Any other questions?
Yes, we have one here. We have one here.
Hello, my name is Saad. I go to Middle East International School. My question is to Kareem. Why did you choose civil engineering?
I belong to that generation that my father said to me, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. And that's a fact. I mean, this is a reality of life, especially in the Middle East. And it certainly was in my day. They were seen as the respectable professions, and the impressive professions. And basically, when I went into university, you all talk about passions. I mean, actually want to ask you the question, how many of you here know what you want to do in life? That's not bad. That's not a bad number. And you guys have a passion for it, and you already know that's what you want to do. The majority of you, and somebody said this before on the panel, don't know. I think you said it, that you don't know. And I certainly didn't know when I went to university. I had no idea what civil engineering even was when I went into university.
But do you regret being a civil engineer?
I have no... I don't like the word regret. I don't think people should regret anything, because everything you pass through in life teaches you something. It's an experience, and you take from that experience. So there shouldn't be any regrets. You talk a lot about regret. You've asked a question about regret. I don't think you guys, any of you, should regret anything. Take your decisions, live with the consequences. But to the girl who asked about what she should do, for me, there's no debating it. You said, I have no interest in medicine, and I'd love to be a computer science engineer. You've answered your own question. Forget medicine. With all respect, I think she said, I have no interest in it. She didn't even want to combine it. Your parents want you to be in medicine. So what? So what?
Yeah, but Kareem, they're paying for the education. They're paying for our education. We live in their houses. They're paying for our Vodafone phones, our Qatar Airways tickets.
Convince them. Convince them.
How should we convince our parents of what we want to study?
Bring them to conferences like this. Let them meet people like us. Do whatever it takes. But the biggest mistake is to go, no, I don't have a regret because I didn't know. I didn't have an alternative. But this young lady has an alternative. She knows what she wants to do. And she should do everything in her power to get there and do it, because she'll love it. And somebody said, do we need to make money, or do we need to do what makes us happy? And you also said, if you're doing what makes you happy, the money will come, it's secondary. You'll be good at what you do. If you struggle all through your life doing something you don't really want to do, you won't be good at it, and you won't make much money at it.
Okay, just to follow up on that question, Kareem, do you wake up every morning enjoying what you're doing with Wahab City?
I do, and I guess the thing is here, you kind of grow into your job and you learn to love it.
You're managing construction site.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's...
I don't manage a construction site.
What do you manage?
I manage people.
People?
Yes.
That are managing a construction site?
That are doing all sorts of different jobs. There are lawyers, there are film producers, there are marketing guys like you, there are bankers, there are developers, there are architects. Those are the people I manage. I love my job. One of the reasons I love my job is one day I could be recording a radio commercial. The next day I could be negotiating a bank loan. The next day I could be sitting with architects doing a bit of design work. The next day I could be with landscapers.
Yeah, because you're a CEO, so you get the chance to do whatever you want.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I started as a CEO.
But, okay, great. You didn't start as CEO. Would you give a chance to the people in front of you if they wanted to start their first experience in a project or an initiative or an idea to work with Doha Festival City. We already have Hilton confirming that, or confirmed that they would give the opportunity. Would Doha Festival City give any of those delegates the opportunity to have an internship?
Absolutely. Look, we have already, and it's in the press, we already took students from Qatar University.
Yeah, but that's Qatar University. I'm talking about them. What do you have to tell to this millennial generation, to the people who Snapchat, tweet, hashtag, Instagram, especially that you are building an Angry Bird theme park, you're the first what was it?
Snow park.
Snow park. And how big is that mall? You're gonna have a snow park, a future. It's a city. It's an actual city.
It's a pretty big place. It's, I think, second only now to Dubai Mall.
You're saying Doha Festival City will be after like Dubai Mall and then Doha Festival City?
Yeah.
What will make you different as a mall?
Oh, it's not just a mall.
They're not just a mall. I think that's it. Kareem, your advice.
I guess my piece of advice is whatever you choose to do and whatever route you choose to get there, just work hard. You know, I'm a CEO today, but when I first started work, I graduated. The first thing I did was go out to Saudi Arabia, and I spent time in the desert, living in a hut, literally building a motorway in the middle of nowhere. And I would go up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because you have to pour concrete at night, and I would go out and check steel, and I would, fix bars myself. I would vibrate concrete, get your hands dirty. Don't expect to start at the top, okay? That's very important. You've got to work your way up, whatever you're doing, whatever you love doing, but start doing it at the grassroots level. Start doing it at the bottom, understand it, know it, and love it, and then you'll get to where you want to get. It'll take a bit of time, but don't expect to get there on day one.
Try it, know it, love it.
Yeah, work hard at it.
Work hard.
As long as you've chosen the right thing and you love it, and then just keep working hard at it and you'll reach the top.
What if I work hard and I fail?
You won't fail.
But it's embarrassing.
You won't fail.
I will fail. I will fail.
No, you won't.
Has nobody failed here?
Because the experience of working hard will set you up to do anything you want to do. If you fail in one thing, you'll go on and do something else. But that whole effort that you've put in will be with you. It doesn't leave you. It's not a waste of time. Okay, that's the important thing to remember. You've tried, and if you failed, you've gained things anyway, and it'll set you up to try something else.
So are you encouraging us to fail?
I'm not encouraging you to fail or wishing you failure. I'm saying that failure is not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing. Everything leaves a positive experience in you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, good luck to all of you.
Thank you very much, Kareem. Charles, really quickly, just give us, 2 sentences of not how only you're going to support us by giving us discounts on Qatar Airways tickets, hopefully, but it's also on what would you advise us?
I'd probably advise you to fail.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I'd advise you to fail is because by failing, you're pushing your boundaries. And if you're pushing your boundaries, you're actually working out what you're capable of doing. And the only way you'll do that is pushing yourself to the edge of failure. And so I'd encourage you to fail. The other thing is I'd encourage you, I think somebody else said, never trust anybody over the age of 30. And I think what that really means is, apart from not trusting what we're saying here, is make up your own decisions. Make your own mind up about it. So you can hear from us, but don't worry about that. Just
fail
make your
and
own
do
mind.
whatever you want, basically.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Do whatever you want. And that's not just doing stuff. That's think about it and then do it and then learn from it yourself.
So what did you learn by going into a coffee shop?
I learned that I was a bit of an idiot.
Okay.
And
so we heard
possible.
stupid somewhere, and then now we heard idiot. Nael, what do you expect from us?
Well, here's the thing, that first when I stepped in, I heard people talking about stress, and I heard people talking about backstabbing, I heard people talking about a lot of negative stuff. If there isn't a piece of advice, I believe that at the age of 17, your biggest enemy is fear. Fear is there. I'm not talking about dangerous. There is two different topics. There is dangerous stuff like driving over the cliff, you'll die. I got it. There is dangerous. But fear is that what I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do, is this is good, is this is bad? Fear, fear, fear. There is an art of how you learn to control that fear to award your success. And this comes with the experience. And there is no advice. It's just you have to try it until you learn it. How? Tell me anybody read a book and learn how to drive a bike. Anybody? Okay.
Obviously not Charles.
Did you drive the bike because you read a book? We did it because we just tried. And when we were a kid, all of our nieces were really busted because we failed and failed.
So you're telling us we should try, and Charles is telling us we should fail and do whatever we want.
No, I told you control your fear.
Control our fear. Very good. Thank you very much.
You need to learn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nael.
You know, I like to stand up.
Yes.
Well, at the age of 17, everybody is looking at this panel and they are trying to find the right recipe of success. And others are trying to find the role model in their life and to follow what he has done. They mention big names, Bill Gates or whoever else in life. There's no one recipe for success. There is a lot of factors together, and everyone choose whatever it suits him. At the age of 17, I highly encourage you to enjoy what you are doing, have fun, learn basics of life. Because I told you before, we are living a journey that starts and ends. Too many theories and too many books in life and a lot of that is good, but is not good enough to make you a successful person. You have to learn languages, you have to speak to people, you have to learn computer in your age, and so on and so forth. These are what give you a strength in life when you start your serious life, which is after university. At this stage, nobody knows what he wants to do. Most of you don't know what you want to do, so get and gather all the basics, all the items that can make the whole meal at the end ready to be cooked. So pick your attitude. I repeat that again, your attitude, the right behavior in life. This is what sets the tone and sets your mind. And then if you don't know what you want to do now in life, that's not a problem, because as long as you are not going to be a doctor, all the other things are they rightly said, it's a common sense in life. It's a lot of experience, situations. And then when you start your career, when you start your summer training, your internship, be serious. Unlike what I said, I was not serious. You're not serious in many things because I was not studying a lot. But when I start to do something, I have a task to do, I am serious. So when you have a task to accomplish, you have to accomplish, and you have to be special. There's a lot of average people in life. I said, if you go to Carrefour, on the shelf, you will have average people. But to find special people, you will not find them. And you have to aim and hope to be special in your life.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, this is the end of When I Was 17. I would like to thank Luke, Director of Marketing from Vodafone Qatar, Nael, General Manager of Afif Charity, Charles, Vice President in Qatar Airways for Innovation, Karim Shamma, CEO of Doha Festival City, Adham, General Manager of Hilton, Doha, Qatar. Thank you very much, everyone.
And thank you, Mohammed.
A selfie now, please. Can we all stand up to take a group selfie?